In this video I will show you all the best enchantments that you can do on your armor, weapons, tools and all the other items that you can enchant in Minecraft. I'm also showing you how to apply the enchantments in the most efficient way, so you can save a ton of XP levels and use the anvil correctly. Feel free to skip to the part you are interested in, but let's get straight into it and begin with the armor enchantments. And starting off with the helmet. The first thing would definitely be the protection 4. 10 aqua affinity, so you can dig underwater at normal speeds. After that we have the respiration 3. This extends the time you can spend underwater from 15 seconds to 60 seconds, so that's pretty useful. And then unbreaking 3 and mending to finish it off. To apply them the most efficient way, you need to start by putting together the respiration 3 book with the mending book. This will cost you 2 XP levels. Then put together the protection 4 and aqua affinity book. This will cost you 2 XP levels. Now put these two books together by themselves. This will cost you 8 levels. After that apply the unbreaking 3 book straight to the helmet. And then you can put these two together. This will cost you 18 levels. In total this helmet will cost you 33 XP levels. And that's done. Next up, the chest plate. Again, the first thing would be the protection 4, and then followed by unbreaking 3 and mending, so there's not much to apply here. But to apply them efficiently, put together the protection 4 and the mending book, costing you 2 XP levels. Then put the unbreaking book straight to the chest plate, costing you 3 levels. And then put this book to the chest plate, costing you 8 levels. And the total should be 13 XP levels for this chest plate. Now let's continue on with the leggings. Now this is exactly the same as for the chest plate. So there is protection 4, then unbreaking 3 and mending. And everything is applied exactly the same way. By putting the protection 4 and mending book together, then putting the unbreaking straight to the bands, and just putting it all together. This will cost you again 13 XP levels. Now let's do the boots. There is a lot more things to apply here. Starting off with again the protection 4. Then we have the feather falling 4. Great to help you survive the rough landings with Elytra. Then the soul speed 3. This helps you walk at normal speeds on soul sand or soul soil. Then you have the option to put on the depth strider 3 or the frost walker 2. The depth strider helps you walk faster in the water, but the frost walker helps you walk on water itself, so creating an ice layer below you. I definitely like the depth strider more and would recommend the same to you. So we're not gonna use the frost walker. And again finishing it off with unbreaking 3 and mending books. Now to apply these books the most efficient way, you wanna start off by taking the boots and putting them together with the mending book, costing you 2 levels. Then put together the depth strider 3 and protection 4 book, costing you 4 levels. Now you can add this book straight to the boots, costing you 12 levels. Now put together the soul speed 3 and unbreaking 3 book. This will cost you 3 levels. Now also add the feather falling book to the book that we just made. This will cost you 5 levels. And finally just put these two together, costing you 25 levels. Now the total for these boots should be 51 XP levels. It's quite expensive, but this is the most efficient way to do them. Now next up we have the Elytra. Now this is pretty simple. Just put unbreaking 3 and mending on it. For this it doesn't matter which way you do it. The total should be 6 XP levels to do this enchantment. Next up the shield. For the shield it's the same as for the Elytra. Just unbreaking 3 and mending. And applied exactly the same way as for the Elytra. Just put them on one by one, costing you 6 XP levels in total. Now we have done all the armor enchantments and let's move on to the weapons, starting with the sword. The first thing should definitely be sharpness 5, or you can choose to have smite 5, but since smite only does damage to undead mobs, I would highly recommend use sharpness. Next up we have the sweeping edge 3. This helps you hit more mobs at once. Then we have looting 3. This helps you get more items from all the mobs that you kill. and followed by Unbreaking Tree and Mending, but there is also 2 enchantments that are optional, and those are the Fire Aspect 2 and Knockback 2. You can choose to have these, but personally I don't like neither of those, so we're not gonna use them. Now to apply these enchantments to a sword the most efficient way, start by putting the Sweeping Edge 3 book together with the Mending book, costing you 2 levels. Then put together the Looting 3 book with the Unbreaking Tree, costing you 3 levels. Now just put these 2 books together by themselves. Make sure to put them in the right order to get them cheaper. This will cost you 10 levels. Then put the sword together with the Sharpness 5 book, costing you 5 levels. And finally, just apply the book to your sword, costing you 21 levels. So in total, this sword should cost you 41 XP levels. Now let's put that back right here. Moving on to the next item, which is the bow. The most important enchantment for this is probably Power 5, making your bow do a good bit of damage. Followed by a decision, either you can take Infinity or Mending, but I would highly recommend Infinity because then you can just use your bow with only 1 arrow, so we're not gonna use Mending on here. Next up, the Unbreaking Tree book, and the 2 optional books are Punch 2 or Flame, but again I don't like either of those, so we're not gonna use these here. Now to apply these 3 enchantments to your bow, just put together the Power 5 and Unbreaking Tree book. This will cost you 3 XP levels. Then take your bow and add the Infinity enchantment to that, costing you 4 levels. And finally, just apply the book to your bow, costing you 10 levels. So in total, this bow will cost you 17 XP levels. And next up on the weapons list we have the Trident. First things should be Unbreaking Tree and Mending, but then we have the choice to put on Channeling and Loyalty or Riptide Tree. With Loyalty and Channeling 3 books you can get the mob heads by making the charged creepers, but with Riptide Tree you can fly when it's raining and move really fast underwater. Since both of these enchantments are good, I'm gonna show you how to make both of these tridents. Starting with the Loyalty and Channeling one. You wanna start off by putting together the Channeling and Loyalty 3 books, costing you 3 levels. Then put together the Unbreaking Tree book with the Mending book, costing you 2 levels. Then take that book and apply it straight to the trident. This will cost you 6 levels. And finally, just apply the book that we have left to the trident, costing you 11 XP levels. So the total is 22 levels to get this kind of trident. To make the Riptide 3 trident, put together the Riptide book with the Mending book, costing you 2 levels. Then put the Unbreaking Tree book to the trident itself. This will cost you 3 levels. And then just apply the book to the trident, costing you 10 levels. So the total for the Riptide trident is 15 levels. And as the final weapon we have the crossbow. Now the first enchantment for this is Quick Charge 3. This reduces the time it takes to load the crossbow. Then we have the Unbreaking Tree and the Mending books. And as the last thing you have a choice to either put on the Piercing 4 or the Multi-Shot book. The Piercing 4 book makes the arrows go through the mobs and giving damage to all of them, while Multi-Shot makes your crossbow shoot out 3 arrows for the price of 1. I do think Piercing is a lot more useful, and I'm gonna show you how to make a crossbow with that. So we're not gonna use the Multi-Shot. To make it the most efficient way, start by putting together the Piercing 4 book with the Mending book, costing you 2 levels. After that, we're gonna put together the Unbreaking Tree book with the Quick Charge 3, costing you again 3 levels. And then apply these books to your crossbow. It doesn't matter which way you do it, and the total for this crossbow should be 22 XP levels. And we are all done with the weapons. Now moving on to the tools. Now the first tool that we have is the pickaxe. And what you should have is Efficiency 5, followed by Unbreaking Tree and Mending, But also you have a choice to put on Silk Touch or Fortune Tree, and both are really useful. I recommend having one pickaxe with Fortune and one with Silk Touch enchantment. I'm gonna show you how to make both of these, but let's start off with making the Silk Touch one. Start by putting together the Efficiency 5 book with the Mending book. This will cost you 2 levels. After that, put together the Silk Touch book with the Unbreaking Tree book, costing you 3 levels. And then just apply these books to your pickaxe. It doesn't matter which way you do it, the total for this pickaxe should come out to 24 XP levels to get this pickaxe. Now let's make the Fortune Tree pickaxe. First put together the Fortune Tree book with the Mending book, costing you 2 levels. Then put together the Efficiency 5 book with the Unbreaking Tree book, costing you again 3 levels. And then apply them to the pickaxe, costing you 9 levels and then costing you 12 levels. The total to get the Fortune pickaxe will be 26 XP levels. And now the pickaxe is done. Next up on the tools list we have the shovel. And everything is the same for the shovel as it was for the pickaxe. So Efficiency 5, Unbreaking Tree and Mending, and then you have the choice to make a Silk Touch or a Fortune Tree shovel. And even the enchantments are applied exactly the same way. Moving on to the axe. This is pretty similar to the shovel and pickaxe, so having Efficiency 5, Unbreaking Tree, Mending, and then the choice of having Silk Touch or Fortune. But also you can have the Sharpness 5 enchantment on the axe. I would recommend having it on your axe, since it makes it pretty powerful and a good replacement for the sword in most situations. To enchant this kind of an axe, start by putting together the Efficiency 5 book with the Mending book, costing you 2 levels. Then put together the Sharpness 5 book with the Unbreaking Tree book. This will cost you 3 levels. Then put these two books together by themselves. But make sure you choose the cheaper option. This will cost you 9 levels. Now you just have the Silk Touch book left, so apply that straight to the axe, and then apply this 4 enchantments book to the axe as well, costing you 19 levels. And the total should be 37 XP levels to get this kind of an axe. The last thing we have on the tools list is the hoe. Now, the most important thing for hoes, loyalty tree. Okay, I'm just kidding. The first thing is Unbreaking Tree and then just Mending, and apply them any way you want. This will cost you in total 6 XP levels. Now let's have a look at some other things you can apply enchantments to, starting with the shears. Now you should use Efficiency 5 on the shears if you are looking to break blocks like wool and cobweb really fast. And then we have the Unbreaking Tree and Mending enchantments. To make these shears efficiently, put together the Efficiency 5 book with the Mending book, costing you 2 levels. Then put the shears together with the Unbreaking Tree book, costing you 3 levels. And finally just add the book to the shears. This will cost you 9 levels, and the total comes up to 14 XP levels to get these shears. Next up we have the fishing rod. For this you should definitely use Luck of the Sea tree. This increases your chances of getting good items. And then we have the lure tree. This decreases the time it takes to catch an item, so it's pretty useful. And as the final two things we have the Unbreaking Tree and the Mending book. To make this kind of a fishing rod efficiently, start by putting together the Luck of the Sea tree book with the Mending book, costing you 2 XP levels. Then put together the lure tree with the Unbreaking Tree book, costing you 3 levels. And before you apply these to the fishing rods, put these two books together by themselves. Just make sure to put them in the right way, so it will cost you 10 XP levels. And then just apply it to the fishing rod, costing you 20 levels. So the total comes up to 35 XP levels to get this kind of a fishing rod. And as the last thing on this list, we have the flint and steel. For this it's pretty easy, just Unbreaking Tree and Mending. And apply them by putting on one book and then another one, costing you in total 6 XP levels. And now we're done with all the items and showing you the maximum enchantments you can do. I really hope you at least find the efficient applying method useful in this video, since for big enchantments like for the boots and for the sword, it can be really useful and save a lot of levels for you. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, you will probably want to subscribe, so you don't miss all the new uploads that we have coming up. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.